All right. Tell us what you're doing.
Blowing bubbles. Blowing bubbles. All the children on the world, red and yellow, black and white, they are precious things. He said, children are ready to children on the world.
Yay! Corey, what are you doing?
Well done, Joey.
everybody, welcome to Family Church. Can you say hi, Wilbur? Happy Easter. If this is your first time to Family Church Online, then welcome. We're so great to have you here. And if you were here last week as well, then it's great to have you here too. We're going to have lots of fun today learning about Easter. But do you know what Easter is all about? Do you think it might be about snowmen?
Nope.
Okay. Do you think it might be about giraffes?
Nope.
No. Okay. Do you think it might be about teddy bears?
Nope.
Monkeys?
Nope.
No. Would you like to learn what Easter's all about?
Yes.
Okay. Watch this story to learn the Easter story. Are you ready? Here's our Easter story. So you're a king, aren't you? Said the Roman soldiers. You'll need a crown and a robe. They gave Jesus a crown made out of thorns. And they put a purple robe on him and pretended to bow down to him. Your Majesty, they said. And then they whipped him and beat him and spat on him. They didn't understand that this was the Prince of Life, the King of Heaven, who had come to rescue them. The soldiers made him a sign. Our King, they said. And they nailed it to a wooden cross. They walked up a hill outside the city. Jesus carried this heavy cross on his back. Jesus had never done anything wrong, but they were going to kill him like they killed all criminals. They nailed Jesus to the cross. Father, forgive them, Jesus gasped. They don't understand what they're doing. You say you've come to rescue us, the people shouted, but you can't even rescue yourself. But they were wrong. Jesus could have rescued himself. Angels could have flown down and rescued him. If you were really the Son of God, you could just climb down off that cross, they cried. And of course, they were right. Jesus could have just climbed down. Actually, he could have just said the word and made it all stop. But Jesus stayed. You see, they didn't understand. It wasn't the nails that held Jesus there. It was love. Can you make a love heart with your hand? Papa, Jesus cried, frantically searching in the sky. Papa, Papa, where are you? Don't leave me. And for the first time and the last, when he spoke, nothing happened. Just a horrible, endless silence. He turned away from his boy. Tears rolled down Jesus' face. Who would wipe them now? Even though it was midday, a dreadful darkness covered the face of the world. The sun could not shine, the earth trembled and quaked, and the great mountains shook. Rocks split in two, until it seemed that the whole world would break, and that creation itself would tear apart. The full force of the storm of God's fierce anger that sin was coming down on his own Son instead of the people. It was the only way that God could destroy sin and not destroy his children, whose hearts were filled with sin. Then Jesus shouted in a loud voice, "It is finished!" And it was. He had done it. Jesus had rescued the world. "Father," Jesus cried, "I give you my life." And with that great sigh, he let himself die. Strange clouds and shadows filled the sky, purple, orange, black, like a bruise. Jesus' friends gently carried Jesus. They laid Jesus in a new tomb carved out of rock. How could it be that Jesus had died? What had gone wrong? What did it mean? They did know, though, that their hearts were breaking. That's the end of Jesus, the leaders said. But just to be sure, they sent strong soldiers to guard the tomb. They hauled a large stone in front of the door so that no one could get in all out. Jesus' friends were really sad. Would you be sad? I would be sad. They would never see their best friend again. How could this happen? Wasn't Jesus the rescuer? The king God had promised? It wasn't supposed to end like this. Yes, but whoever said anything about the end? Just before sunrise on the third day, God sent an earthquake and an angel from heaven. When the guards saw the angel, they fell down with fright. The angel rolled the huge stone away, sat on top of it, and waited. At the first glimmer of dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other women headed to the tomb to wash Jesus' body. The early morning sun slanted through the trees, and drops of dew glittering on the leaves and the grasses. Tears were everywhere. The friends walked quietly along the hilly path through the olive groves until they reached the tomb, and immediately they noticed something was different. It was odd. It was wide open. They peered through the opening into the dark tomb. But wait! Jesus' body! It was gone! And something else. A shining man was there with clothes made from lightning. "Don't be scared," the angel said. But they couldn't help it. They were scared anyway. The angel asked them, "What are you doing here? This is a tomb, and tombs are for dead people." The woman couldn't speak. Jesus isn't dead anymore. He's alive again. And their hearts leapt. And then the angel laughed with such gladness that they felt for a moment that if they had woken from a nightmare. Oh my goodness. The other women rushed home, but Mary stayed behind. How could it be true? Jesus was definitely dead. But how could he be alive? Just then Mary heard someone else in the garden. Perhaps it was the gardener, she thought. He'll know where Jesus' body is. "I don't know where Jesus is," Mary said urgently. "I can't find him anywhere." But it was all right. Jesus knew where she was, and he would find her. "Mary?" Only one person knew how to say her name like that. She could hear her heart thumping. Bum, bum. She turned around. She could just make out a figure. She shaded her eyes to see and thought that she was dreaming. But she wasn't dreaming. She was really seeing Jesus. Wow. Mary fell to the ground. Suddenly tears filled her eyes and great sobs took her whole body. And all she wanted to do in that moment was to cling to Jesus and never let go. "You'll be able to hold on to me later," Jesus said. "But now go and tell everyone else that I am alive." Well, Mary ran and ran and ran as fast as she could. She ran so fast that her legs didn't even touch the ground. Everything seemed to be amazing. The whole world seemed to be made anew, as if almost all the new birds were singing for joy, the trees were dancing, and the birds in her heart. Was God really making everything sad come untrue and happy? Was he really making even death come untrue? She couldn't wait to tell her friends about it. Jesus was alive. So we hope you enjoyed the story of Easter.
Easter.
Yeah. Wilbur, how would you feel if your friend died?
Not happy.
Not happy, no. Really sad. Would you cry?
Yes.
Yeah, I think like the people did in the story. But what would happen, how would you feel if your friend came alive again?
Happy.
Yay! And that's how the people felt in the story. So now we're going to take some time to answer some questions and you can have a chat with your family. have learnt today is the word resurrection. Can you say that?
Waka waka.
Resurrection. And resurrection means that Jesus came back from the dead, and the resurrection proves that Jesus is no longer dead, but he is alive, and that's what we celebrate today. So now we are going to go into our prayer time, and we're going to learn our memory verse. Jesus died for you. Can you make a U with your hands like that? That no one death paid for your sins. He was not guilty. Put your thumbs down. But he died for those who were guilty. And he did this to bring you to God. And now Jesus is alive. Yay!
Hi everyone, we are the Houghton family and we've been asked to read an Easter poem. Black is for our sin, the wrong things we have done. Red is for Jesus' blood he shed for everyone. White is for a clean heart, in Jesus we believe. Gold is for the streets in heaven, promised when Jesus we receive. Green is for growing, hide God's word in your heart. Put your trust in Jesus and give your life a brand new start.
Now it's time for our craft, and this week we're going to make an Easter garden to remind us that Jesus is no longer dead on the cross, but he is alive. So, first thing you need is a tray. Here we go, Wilbur. And then you need to go into your garden and collect a few things. So we've got some soil,
Some dry sand,
and
muddy sand,
muddy sand. We've also got
hay,
grass,
stones, big stone, a tin, a low leaping,
toilet roll,
string,
and some twigs. And if you want to, optional, some flowers. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we've got to put some soil on this tray. Can you put the soil on the tray?
Put it all in.
Yep, put it all in. There we go, and spread it all about. Now you don't have to use all of these things, you can just use what you find in your garden. So this is the base of our garden, our Easter garden, and then we're going to put our tin can, but you can also use a toilet roll, and you could even use a bottle and just cut it for your tomb. So we're going to cover it. Now do you want to cover it over with the sand? There we go, so you want to cover it, and then maybe some wet sand that will stick it.
Stick it.
Yeah, there we go. Stick.
Stick.
Okay.
Remember, my sand is so sticky.
Yeah, it's very sticky, isn't it? Okay, and then we want to put some grass on to make it like a little garden. Can you plant the grass?
Plant the grass like this.
Yep, that's looking good. And then some straw. Let's stick some straw around the edges. There we go. Okay, and what do they put in front of the tomb, Wilbur? A big stone. So we want a big stone just to go on the side here because the tomb is open now. And then we can put some other stones. You can make a little path. Can you make a little path? That's great. And then should we put some flowers in our garden?
Yes.
There we go. Let's put some flowers on the bottom there. And some red ones. Wow, this is looking so pretty. There we go. And then the final thing we need to put in is our cross. So we can put our cross in at the top here or at the side to show that Jesus is not on the cross anymore because he's not dead, he is alive. And then if you want some extras, you can put some little people in your garden. And this is our Easter garden. Have fun. Can you play with it?
This is the door. This is the door. There.
Now open the door.
In Jewish culture, to make sure somebody was really, really dead, they waited 3 days. This way they knew Jesus had really risen from the dead, and it was a true miracle. On the 3rd day, there is a violent earthquake. The angel of the Lord rolled the stone away from the tomb and sat on it. Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Zikomo, and I'm going to tell you interesting facts about the tomb. The tomb that was buried, and it was guarded by 4 soldiers. And if anyone tries to open it, gets killed. And a stone is on its covering. It's 4 to 6 feet tall. And only has a small car. Bye. Thank you.
If you haven't finished your craft, you can always go back to it later, but now we're going to take some time to worship and dance. So we want everyone standing up in your sitting room or wherever you are to get dancing and singing to these great worship songs.
He gives to all of us, holding nothing back. He pours out his love. He sent Jesus Christ to be my sacrifice, the greatest gift from heaven above. He pours out His love. He sent Jesus Christ to be my sacrifice, the greatest gift from heaven above.
Okay, you ready to repeat after me? My God's generous, He gives to all of us.
My God is generous, He gives to all of us.
My God's generous, He gives to all of us.
My God is generous, He gives to all of us.
Our
God is generous, He gives to all of us, holding nothing back. He pours out His love. He sent Jesus Christ to be my sacrifice, the greatest gift from heaven above.
Did you enjoy Family Church today, Wilbur?
Yep.
Okay, we hope you enjoyed Family Church at home, and we'll see you next week. Can you say bye-bye, Wilbur?
Bye. Bye.